Previously on the Lost Cowboys.
They're going to be building right on the other side of this fence, according to what their maps and their plans showed.
I'm afraid people are going to want to sell out and move out of here.
They bought land on both sides of us, so it goes to the north and to the east and to the south. So this community that we're in is horseshoed in by this Burlington.
It's supposed to be the biggest laydown yard in the United States.
I don't know what'll happen, but I sure don't want it to happen.
You get to escape to this every day. This is what people think about when they think about Arizona.
Horses don't lie to you. If a horse is a mean horse, you got to watch him all the time. If somebody looks at you and says that they're a nice guy but treats you poorly, their actions is what tells you. A horse doesn't do that. If they'll kick you, they'll show you they'll kick you, and they'll do it every time. When I was a young man, when people shook hands, that was enough, generally. And if it wasn't, everybody in the area knew about that person. Everybody knew he was a skunk, but a horse doesn't lie to you. It's not necessarily that easy with people. Sometimes you think you're being told the truth and you're not really being told the truth.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to Fort Worth, right?
Cheers to Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Yes, and FedEx are all based out of. This was like the intermodal facility. This was a industrial acreage, right? It wasn't built in a neighborhood where we live.
You know, my wife and I were talking the other day. This is a facility we've dreamed of building when we were kids. My wife calls it a ranchette, and we're proud of it.
In Whitman, there it would be 20 feet from their property.
Say that again.
There's got to be a better place to put it. When we got to Fort Worth and went to the intermodal facility, I realized the scale and magnitude of this project. I don't know how many nights of sleep we've lost worrying about it. What are we going to do?
Oh, enormously. The railroads, take a railroad like BNSF, they're moving far more ton miles of product with less in the way of people, less in the way of...
Most specifically, sparks, which started the fire along the rail line.
I don't like to think about it.
So why are we here?
It's a great question. I came here for work for myself, but it's also the ability to go look at the intermodal facility that's what is it, a quarter now? Eighth of the size of the facility they're building in Arizona. This is going to put a pretty good perspective on what we're looking at. So that's the reason I came to Fort Worth last night.
Yeah.
You know, and we're sitting here today getting ready to go tour the intermodal facility. And I'm just really curious about how big it is. And this one in Hazlet, Texas, which is their intermodal facility here, isn't near as big as the one they're going to try and build around us. It was actually originally an industrial park, about a 26,000 acre ranch.
Yeah.
And it's distributed. There's an airfield there and all this other stuff, right? The facility here is about 500 acres. And so we wanted to get the scale of that because the facility they're building in Arizona is 4,500 acres there. And when you get to looking at the map as we go around today and look at it, I don't see any houses close to it. They're a long ways away compared to our area. So how is that modeling and layout and what they're trying to do in Arizona even comparable to what they built here? And it doesn't seem to be. Hopefully it doesn't pass, but it's just those of us that live out there are so nervous that eventually someday they're going to get their way. And what happens if there's a hazardous fire or a hazardous spill that goes into the groundwater? Who's responsible for that? Who controls that? So how many semi-trucks are lined up at this facility and they're wanting to build 8 or 10 of these out there? I forget how many, maybe it's 12, I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but they're wanting to build multiple buildings just like this right here that UPS is staged.
Look at all the trucks that are happening over there. That's just a small scale of what's coming our way and what's developing.
When we got to Fort Worth, finished breakfast, and went to the intermodal facility, I realized the scale and magnitude of this project.
My house sits this close to the noise that's going on. See that? There's another.
And people are like, well, the sound's not that bad. And when we were there, and one of your assistant camera guys was about 10 feet away and couldn't hear you and I talking, that was scary. We weren't standing at the rail car. We were standing outside the intermodal facility where you and I are sitting right now.
In these moments, it became clear that Kirby was in shock. Imagine spending your whole life to build the dream with those that you love and care for, just to be told that an unwanted and ruthless neighbor was setting up shop on all sides around you. This was his reality. This is the intermodal facility in Fort Worth, Texas. On the ground, it goes as far as the eye can see. This is how big Whitman's intermodal facility will be. It is so big, this won't negatively affect Whitman alone. The unchecked sprawl of BNSF threatens to shatter the peace, history, and identity of the neighboring beautiful communities such as Sun City and Surprise as well. The silence, sunsets, and spirit of the West will be swallowed by concrete and steel. This fight belongs to all of us.
Life has ups and downs. There's times when you're against the wall and you're not sure how you're going to get back away from it. If you're going to make it, you better stick to it. You don't start something and then walk away from it just because things get tough. I've been in the rodeo business. I know a little about what it looks like to bounce back after you've been pushed and after you've been hurt and after you've been bounced around. Do you still want it or do you not? How bad do you want it? How hard are you willing to work for it? And I guess you need to be resilient if you're going to come out on the other end.
Seeing the Fort Worth facility gave me context, but something still wasn't sitting right with me. I wanted answers. There were homes and businesses in the surrounding area. I thought surely somebody would be able to share their experience and give me some clarity. What is it really like to live next to BNSF?
Good luck. Let me know how your guys' day goes. Thank you. They'll take care
We
of you.
said our goodbyes to Kirby.
Bye, Kirby. See you back in Arizona.
And set off.
Not today. We have a family member passing away.
I am so sorry.
I couldn't find anybody. I started to lose hope.
Anybody will be here.
We came out all this way to Fort Worth, and I didn't want to leave without talking to somebody.
Hey there. How you doing? Is there anybody here that'd be open to having 5 minutes and just me asking them a few questions?
I was told I would have to schedule an appointment. But then...
Give me just a minute. I gotta run to the back of the building.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you.
Before we knew it, the door opened and it ended up being the mayor of Haslett, Texas. The direct representative that deals with BNSF.
My name is Gary Halsey. I'm mayor of the city of Haslett, Texas.
Would you say the community has a more positive or negative outlook as it relates towards the intermodal facility, or are they mostly indifferent?
Well, that's a very large question.
Yeah.
There's lots of rolled into it. Very specifically to with regard to mobility, It's negative.
Like you said, with the traffic.
That's right. That is the number one issue. Tried to been out here a long time before those homes were out here, so there's no surprise there.
It seems that it's not like completely next door. It seems like there's at least like half a mile of like a lot of open land between residential and this.
We're more than a half a mile from there. In homes here.
In Whitman, there it would be 20 feet from their property.
I would never do that. I would never let that happen. Imagine yourself living 20 feet from a railroad track. There is no way you're going to mitigate that sound and or vibration. That the quality of life would be not even bearable for those people who live there. I mean, there's existing homes there already, and they're proposing 20 feet from that? No.
First thing I do is invite you to come and spend some time with me and understand what goes on here. This is a lifestyle that we cherish. This is something that I want my family to be around. This is something I want my grandkids to be raised in and around.
If they would try to make it nice for us, would help this whole situation out, I think. Wife and I are realtors. I'm a general contractor, so we build houses and sell real estate. I've had quite a few people come look at properties that I have had listed in the area, and they've turned around and said that, no, we're afraid of Burlington Northern.
Because nobody wants to live next to a logistics park for BNSF. Nobody wants to hear rail cars. Nobody wants to willingly put themselves in a situation where they're going to be constantly polluted. Nobody wants to live next to that.
People were going to build horse facilities, nice facilities on, and some of them are coming back on the market or are back on the market right now. And they're thinking that this is going to be a total detriment to them. It's not a good deal, you know, but it's nerve-wracking to say the least to think that I've been able to ride this ride right here for as long as we have without going too much outside of this. Now, who knows? It might burn near stop. It could. You know, I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen there. But it'd be time to retire.
Just you wait to listen for the storm. Hear the difference in the wind. When dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane comes in.
Put something like this somewhere else. Come and spend some time so you understand what it's like living here. This is why people have always moved farther west. Now we've gone as far west as we can go. We want to live here, uninterrupted, while we do it.
If you can sit here from BNSF today and honestly say this is the right place for the project, I don't think you're hearing anything that any of us said. So that's what started this awareness, is there's nothing we can say or do to stop planning and zoning from approving. We need the Board of Supervisors to stop this project and say it doesn't belong at this area. It can happen in Arizona. It doesn't belong in Whitman around these people.
My name is Mickey Young.
Lyle Delp. Lyle Deaver.
Laura Deaver.
Josh Jones.
I am a resident of Whitman, Arizona.
And we live in the community that is going to be surrounded by the BNSF Logistics Park Phoenix located in Whitman, Arizona.
BNSF, we don't need you to build right here.
BNSF, don't build this here.
My name is Kirby Anderson. I'm a resident of Whitman, Arizona, and BNSF, do not build here.